Hello, magical people, and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lou, and today is the strawberry full moon, and it's a super moon at that. So I just wanted to do a quick reading and do a little bit of an energy check-in. So I'm going to be looking at four things. I'm going to be looking at the four different elements and just pulling a couple or few cards for each of the elements. And as we know, the elements represent different things. So for example, the wands represents our inspirations, our passions, our fires. The pentacles represents our body, our health, our financial well-being, jobs, places that we live, physical world around us. Cups is our emotions, and swords is our thinking. So, please like, comment, subscribe. Oh, look at me remembering. Let's see what else. Yes. Take what resonates and leave the rest, especially with readings for the collective, but always, even if you're ever getting a one-on-one reading, please take any reader's words as concrete, absolute fact, not to be questioned or discerned on your own. So having said that, let's dive right in and see what we see. So like I said, I'm going to be pulling some cards for the different aspects of our lives, and this is just a kind of like energy check-in with maybe a little bit of advice. So I've got some oracle cards as well, and let's just go ahead and get started here. All right, so that's air. For air, we've got equilibrium and the hermit. So equilibrium, this is the Two of Pentacles, and the hermit card, so that's air. For water, we have the Nine of Swords and the Four of Cups. I guess I could be showing these to y'all. Nine of Swords and Four of Cups. So that's water. Next we've got fire, which is the Judgment card. Interesting. And we also have the Eight of Arrows, or Eight of Swords. And then for earth, we have the Five of Swords and the Daughter of Roots, or Princess of Pentacles, or Page of Pentacles. It's many names, many decks. So what I'm really seeing here is that in our thoughts and the way that we're thinking, maybe we've been really seeking our own counsel, that hermit energy, because we're trying to make a decision about something, or we're trying to regain equilibrium after a period of chaos and confusion. Emotionally, where that kind of leaves us is feeling some inner conflict and some inner apathy, and wondering, like, especially with the apathy card with the Four of Cups, there's a sense, it's not so much that we're apathetic because there's nothing good available to us. It's more that the apathy is causing us to not see the additional gifts that the universe is bringing to us. So that's emotionally, we've got a little bit of internal conflict and apathy kind of coming from this period of time where we've had to kind of go within and seek our own counsel. And now with the fire, we had the Judgment card and the Eight of Arrows. So like the Eight of Arrows is also known as the Eight of Swords, is kind of a card of self-oppression. So it's this feeling of being like not being able to clearly see, or feeling completely blinded entirely, and feeling bound and hedged in, like we can't move, we don't have enough information or enough understanding to know which way to move safely in. And with the Judgment card, I feel like this is really kind of showing us that we're having a lot of feelings of judgment for ourselves as a result of being in this place. Oh, no, actually, it's the other way around. We're in this place of feeling like we can't move forward and maybe don't have as much clarity as we'd like. It feels dangerous, it feels scary, it feels like making a move in any direction is going to bring something unknown, and that is bringing up some fear for us, and that fear is bringing up some judgment. And so, yeah, in the earthly realm, where that kind of leaves us is in this place of feeling like we've kind of been going through a rough go. Like, it's been a lot of difficulty, it's been a lot of conflict. And so what we're trying to do instead is like we're trying to embrace that energy of grounding. You know, the princess of roots is the earthy part of earth. And so I really feel like maybe we're coming out of a period of time of where there was a disappointment or some chaos or some trouble that we were experiencing that kind of has kind of brought about this place where overall kind of in the earthly realm we are definitely healing, but in terms of like energetically, emotionally, logically thinking about it, and in terms of where that kind of leaves us with our passion and our drive, it feels as though there's a little bit of upheaval. And like I said, not all of this will resonate for everybody, but at the bottom of the deck was the Two of Cups card, which is often the card of union or the card of partnership. So perhaps this is a romantic partner, or perhaps this is a business partner, or something like that, but maybe that might be the underlying situation that's kind of caused this period of struggle and confusion and not knowing which way to go. So now we are going to flip it, and we are going to pull another round of cards for each element, looking at where do we take this energy next. Like, it's the full moon. The full moon is a time of release. So if you know what I'm talking about here, if this is one of those things that resonates for you, maybe consider jotting the information down on a piece of paper, and if you can do so, observing fire safety standards, you know, burn that piece of paper and release those disappointments, those struggles, that judgment, release that back to the universe. So let's see what the tarot has to say about all of that in terms of moving forward and next steps. So for the air element, again, going back to thoughts, we got the Five of Earth and the Moon card. And so using the moon, tapping into that spirit of the unknown, and instead of like Eight of Arrows wise, seeing that not being able to know as a place of fear, instead maybe using that information, giving ourselves some positive talk about moving out of a space of limiting beliefs and into that energy of being open to the mystery, because it's all really about mindset. Like, sometimes, I mean, we never know exactly what's going to happen, even when we think we do, but sometimes it's about even being in that same place of not knowing what's coming. There can be different ways to approach it. You can approach it with fear, or you can approach it with curiosity and kind of lean into the mystery of that. And so maybe doing some affirmations to yourself about, I accept things as they are and my not knowing of them, and I embrace being curious about the mysterious nature of life right now. Or that was obviously very off the cuff. So just to give you an idea, you know, feel free to customize that to yourself, but just something to kind of like keep in mind. Okay, so emotionally, we have the Page of Earth and the Queen of Earth. So interesting. So this is really asking us to ground, and both with the Page of Earth and with the Queen of Earth, it's asking us to not only ground, and this may be something that we haven't really done a whole lot, but to okay, so what I'm seeing is that yes, we need to embrace our grounding and learn to have mastery over our emotional states. And I don't mean that in the way that we need to control our emotions, because one of the things that comes from moving from childhood to adulthood is learning the wisdom of what we control and what we can't. So I feel like maybe this is the past energy coming up, and this is the invitation is being like, hey, you know how to ground, you know how to try and control your emotions, but that's not actually the way you master things. You master things by allowing yourself to become the Queen of Pentacles, and you know that the Queen of Pentacles is all about sort of like understanding the wealth within her, you know, and that wealth within her, and that acknowledgement of it, and that acceptance of it allows abundance to also show up around her. So I feel like the sort of invitation here, the message here, is to not try and control our emotions, but if we are feeling internal conflict, if we are feeling apathetic, if we are feeling like we can't get out of the fog of our own way emotionally, that like rather than fighting against that with the frustration of a child, instead we should try and move into the wisdom of knowing that we can't control our emotions, we can only control what we do with them, and that allowing those emotions to pass through us and move into our body, like literally grounding them in our body and letting them, that energy move not only in our body but then out of our body, you know, so that we're not storing things in places in our body that will then later come up and present issues for us. So in terms of fire, we have, oh gosh, interesting, we have the Page of Fire showing up here, and also the Ace of Fire. So that is really interesting. So like right now, just to recap where we were or where we are with the fire energy, it was that energy of oppression and judgment and feeling like we don't know which way to move forward. And this is saying that if we approach this, our passions and our fire, and if we with the passion of a student, with the willingness of a student to learn and to embrace new experiences, then we can move out of that place of feeling stuck and feeling that self-limiting belief of we don't know what's going to happen, so we can't make a move in any direction. And instead what will come from that is bam, oh, inspiration from the universe. So again, it's kind of like this feeling of trying to be in a place of non-resistance. And then for the earth element, we have the Three of Air and and the World card. And now the Three of Air is sometimes called the Heartbreak card. And so what I'm really feeling is that like maybe this situation that allowed this all to happen, you know, again, bringing something to fruition. This feels like it's the end of some pretty conflicting information or chaotic time where there was a lot changing, and there's probably some grieving to be done along with that. But the World card also indicates that, you know, even though right now we feel like we're really just trying to get our footing after feeling a little bit beaten up by life, this is the end of a cycle of that. And then the underlying card for this deck was the Queen of Water, and again, you know, mastery and mastery over the emotions. So what I really am kind of getting is that like what has come about for a purpose, and it's these are lessons that we can all learn from, that we can take the wisdom from and sort of put all of those lessons in our pockets, and, you know, more tools that we've kind of picked up along the way. So now I'm going to pull a couple of oracle cards to kind of finish this out and leave us with some final thoughts from the universe and the guides as we move forward from this full moon towards summer in the northern hemisphere anyhow. And here we actually pulled a full moon card, and this is asking us to release negativity. It's time to release negativity. So I feel like that's really just kind of reiterating what I've said. Like, yeah, it's definitely, there's been some stuff that we've been going through. It's really been hitting us, and it's wrapping up, and it's time to let it go so we can take the lessons from it and move forward. Woo. And here we have, We have the Manifest card, which is amazing energy and kind of is reminding me back about this, Ace of Fire card showing up. So that is some pretty good news. And then last but absolutely not least, I'm going to pull an Animal Oracle deck and see if we can get just one more final message for this full moon. Thank you all for taking the time to sit through this video. I appreciate you being here. This is a relatively new venture for me, and I've never done anything like this before. And dang, now I'm near 100 subscribers, which I know for some people which maybe doesn't sound like anything, but to me it's mind-blowingly huge. So thank you for being a part of that. I really, really deeply, deeply appreciate it. And our final card for the send us on our way is the Turtle Spirit, and slow and steady wins the race. And I think that is beautiful to remember. This is a lot of big stuff. It seems like there's a lot of shifting happening here. And the turtle showing up to remind us that having patience with ourselves and recognizing that we can only move so fast and that there's only so much we can fully integrate at a time, and that life is all about the spirals, the things that we move away from and then come back towards with a slightly different perspective than the time before. I love it. I love it all. I hope you found this helpful. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you, magical people, so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I hope that you take what resonated and it brings you some comfort, inspiration, and validation. Take care.